with me. This is a little long. The gift of La Noche's lights, in honor of my great uncle Tito. The sky wasn't always as beautiful as it is today. Long ago, there were no stars or in the sky or even La Luna. There was only darkness, and the people waited for the sun to rise to be able to continue with their activities. One day, however, La Noche came. When La Noche came, a humble person from a small campo, where it's summer all year long, decided enough is enough. A young man named Tito decided to use a lantern in the night to find the night goddess La Noche. He walked through a small forest and soon spotted a beautiful woman on the hill where the forest ends. He walked up to the woman curiously, since most people aren't out in the dark. The closer he got, the more he began to realize she wasn't a regular woman. Her skin was purple and it was glowing like his lantern. Her hair reminded him of paint, beautiful swirls of blue and white, actively moving like ripples in water. She asked, "What brings a persona out so late? Isn't it past your bedtime?" She stood up and faced a mortal named Tito. She wore a white flowy dress and golden decorations and golden sandals. Tito gulped nervously as he stood in the presence of La Noche. "I have come for a request." The graceful goddess laughed in his face. "I don't take requests from gente. The people are so limited, we can barely do anything. We can't travel in darkness or celebrate festivals and holidays." Tito's grasp on the lantern tightened. She scowled at him and the wind blew her hair to the side, almost demanding his silence. Mortals are so selfish, always asking for things. She sat on the hill. "Fine, I'll humor you. Beat me in a game of chibola? 3 rounds, and every round you win gets you a source of light. ¿Entiendes?" Tito nodded hesitantly. Playing against a goddess is nerve-wracking, especially in chibola. The game is a common one many of the campesinos play. First, there's a circle drawn on the dirt, and there's a hole in the center. Using the marbles, the objective is to get the other person's marbles in the hole. You need to be careful not to overdo hitting the marble because you might get yourself out. La Noche created 8 marbles and placed them on the dirt. She dug her finger into the soil and drew a circle around them and dug a hole small enough for a few marbles in the center. She dropped the 4 marbles in his hands. What happens if I lose? Tito had been avoiding the question but felt he needed to know what he was getting into. "I'll rip you from the world and you shall be my servant for the rest of your life," she said nonchalantly as she put the marbles within the circle. "That's great," Tito mumbled. He could feel the sweat dripping down the side of his forehead. Tito went first and by pure luck managed to get 2 of her marbles into the goal. However, she got 2 of his out right after that. He got her last 2 out and the goddess said to him, "For your first win, I shall grant los humanos fireflies." She showed her hand as a fist and out of her hand flew the small flying bugs that blinked on and off. They should at least light your way a little. They only come out when the sun begins to set. Tito grinned at the new creation. Suddenly, he began to feel he could possibly win, that it wasn't too impossible a concept. La Noche began to pick up on his confidence and said, "Do you realize if you lose one, you lose all?" She hadn't liked the smile he had after she lost. The smile quickly faded from his face and his eyes went wide. He nodded slowly, not wanting to admit he hadn't known, even though it was something she had just decided. Tito began to second-guess his moves against her. He didn't want to give up his life and began to wonder if these lights are really worth it. Then again, could he even back out at this point without paying a price? Slowly but surely, Tito won the 2nd round. La Noche frowned and said, "For winning the 2nd round, I grant la gente the stars." She opened her fist and yet again and into the sky flew beautiful lights like he had never seen before. There are infinite amount of stars in the sky. They are born and they die just like you, and they are across space and time. Tito began to think it really was worth it to see these lights in the sky. He took a breath and braced himself for the last round. La Noche was angry. How was it that she, a goddess, was losing to a mere mortal? No, this was unacceptable. She made one of her 4 marbles the weight of the planet. This way he could not win. He managed to knock out her other 3 marbles, but the last one would remove from its place. The goddess smiled, and with a single marble she had, she knocked out 3 of his 4. Suddenly, Tito began to panic. Was he really going to lose now? What's wrong? Where's all that confidence, she asked. Tito needed to act quickly, but what? He couldn't knock her out. That much he noticed. He couldn't use the other marbles to defend either. Suddenly, the idea hit. He moved the marbles across from hers. Is that really it? She shrugged and sent her marble after his. She had expected her marble to go in the hole and back out, but she hadn't hit hard enough according to the new weight. What? She demanded. Their marble rolled back in, and like that she lost the match. He sighed in relief at his victory. He explained, I had a feeling you did something. So what's the final gift? She glared at Tito for a final time, opened her hand, clasped hand, and something shot out. Soon there was a white crescent in the sky. Finally, I give you La Luna. She changes every night in a cycle and will be your brightest light. Tito grinned, but he was careful not to celebrate before the goddess. This did not help her rage at all. La Noche said to him angrily, be warned, Humano, this isn't over. One day these people you risk your life for will ruin the very world you fought for. Greed will dirty the planet, and others will pay the price. Tito understood her point. After all, there was already corruption and sorrow. Despite this, he didn't regret what he had done. The night was so beautiful, and actually, it reminded him a lot of La Noche. He said to her, I know, but now at least there's something to look up to. The goddess admired his optimism. The god El Sol began to rise, and she took her leave, allowing a new cycle of light to begin.